Hey everybody, this is part 2 of how to make a barrel garden planter with Tim Burrows here. So what I'm trying to do next, you may have seen the first step. I had the barrel cut and I took the top half and I kind of cut the sides and I crimped it and put it in place as a platform for the soil. And now this time what I'm trying to do is use this Home Depot style plumbing work. It's an 1.5-inch plumbing pieces and pipe. And then I'm trying to basically make a hole through here. I've marked it off roughly where it's going to be. As I use this, I'll just bring it on camera. I'm going to use these connectors, poke it through with, I have like I said, a hole saw. I've got 2 different sizes here. I believe the sizes I need is 1 3/4 inch for the smaller size, and then I'm going to use the 2 1/8 inch for going through here, which is approximately this size. I might have to heat it up a little bit for the stretch and squeeze it through. We'll have to see. It's a bit of an experiment, but this is basically how it's going to fit. It'll go through here, and they'll have a fill pipe coming up and a pipe going down, which are these here. They'll come over to a 90-degree bend and go sideways, which is basically just going to have a whole bunch of holes in it, and that's just to soak in the water and make sure it doesn't get plugged. So that's where we're at now, and I'm gonna try to make this hole right now, I think. So I got a power drill here with the hole saw kit, and I'm starting to make the cut like so, and I won't make you watch that, but I'll get back to you when it's finished. Okay, so there you have it. There's the overflow hole. I'm hoping is in the right position now. Relatively correct. And so I'm going to try to thread in the plumbing parts next. So I managed to get it a pretty snug fit, and I'm pushing it through and sort of threading it as I go. I'm going to take it back out and use silicone as well. I just want to make sure that everything lines up. And so this is the stage where we're at the moment. I'll give it pretty tight. It's actually fitting pretty nicely. Okay, so this other piece has the threads for this, and so just make sure it's threaded on correctly and twist that up. Okay, so this is looking pretty solid now. I also have this, if I'm sure that I want it permanently, I got this premium grade Oatly ABS cement, yellow ABS cement, and that's good for gluing all the pipe to all these joins and making a nice tight seal. As far as the next piece here, I've got this reducer that can take it down from this size to the size of a more, let's see if I can find you the pipe. There's a piece of pipe somewhere, but that will connect to this and to that. I'll just pause it 1 sec. Okay, so here's that piece. This is the same diameter as something you could hook up for like a hose connection, a garden hose. But right now this is just going to be like an overflow spout, and you can put like a bottle here sort of thing, so while you're filling the garden, you're watching for it to overflow. I was thinking you could catch it in some sort of bottle, but again, this is removable. It's not necessary. This also could be interconnected to other barrels, so they can connect to one another. But now I'll show you on the inside the next step. Okay, so the next step is trying to connect this pipe to this piece, which involves cutting a hole through here, another hole saw. I've got to measure and mark that, and then try to cut a small piece of this pipe, which will go in between here and here, and then I can glue that, so that can be a permanent fixture there. Alright, so I got my hole marked and measured and started drilling it. So basically I got a different size hole saw here, and so I will start drilling that like this. Get back to you when I'm done. Okay, so I've removed the inner part and disconnected the pipe work so I could work with it a little easier. And now I got this pipe here, and it seems like a pretty good fit. So now I can adjust this up and down a little bit if need be, and hopefully I can get this piece connected to the other piece. But first I think I should probably get a piece of pipe connected to that, and then which hooks on underneath to this and to another piece of pipe. So if I should mark and measure those first, and then I'll connect the whole system together, and if it looks good, I think we'll be in business. I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, so I think I made an adequate small piece here. It will fit like this. This one goes back in the hole, but basically connects to like that. And once it's lined up, hopefully it'll be ready for the next piece underneath. Okay, so I've cut a few more pipes, and I've taken it out from the barrel, and now I've laid it on the floor so you can sort of see all the pipes. So if you can imagine, this is the barrel here, and well, I guess like this, right? And so this is the fill pipe. It comes down and fills the barrel. Now all this I'm going to drill a bunch of holes into, which I'll do in a minute. And then as the barrel fills up, it back floods up and over. This is the bottom of the soil level. And then it goes through this tube, it goes through the connectors, it reduces down to size, and in this case it's going to fill up like a jug that you put next to it, just so once it gets too full you can stop watering, and then once it's, you know, it goes down a little bit, you can take that and reintroduce it. In the case of a rainstorm, it'll fill up a lot, but basically that'll be your overflow point if the garden ever gets too full. So now that I've got all my pieces, I'm gonna just drill some holes here, which I'll show you right now, I guess. Okay, so I just decided to use the same drill as the hole saw kit, and I just drilled a bunch of holes along the edge of the pipe, like so. And it's hard to do with one hand, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to take all these pieces and assemble them into that. Okay, so this is what it looks like from underneath. Now the whole filled pipe is installed. I might do a couple more holes, we'll see. Now that's coming up like so. It's coming through and attaching to this piece. We're gonna bring the whole thing in here, which I'll just pause it for a sec. Okay, so the barrel platform's back in. The pipe goes down at a 90-degree bend this way. It forks off with a T here. It reduces down with the overflow. I got the filled pipe here, which I'll install. And then this is just the cap for gardening hose. So you come along, you fill it like this, you put the cap on to prevent mosquitoes. And that basically does it for the plumbing. I'm probably going to come back and silicone this, because I don't think, although it doesn't have very much pressure, I still think I don't really want it running down here, especially because I want to clad it in wood, and I don't need any additional moisture accumulating near any wood. So that's the plan. As far as these holes go, I have a different plan for that, and if you want to find out what that is, I guess you'll have to tune into the next video in part 3. Thanks much for watching.